There are many pieces of animated media that have grown in infamy over the years because of how bad they are, but they didn't have to be so bad. That's the idea behind Fixing Animation, a series where I make humble suggestions to improve what many find beyond improvement. This is Fixing Animation. It wouldn't be easy to name a cartoon reboot more infamous than Teen Titans Go. Over the last 10 years, the series has made a name for itself. People are less critical of it now, but when Teen Titans Go first came out on television, lots and lots of people went to the internet to rant about how it is the worst animated series of our time, despite everything else that has come out. I have an interesting relationship with Teen Titans Go. We fell in love, got married, got divorced, briefly started dating again, and now we're just friends. What the fuck am I talking about? Despite all the animation fans hating on Teen Titans Go, the series had a big audience of kids who would watch every new episode of it, making it become Cartoon Network's #1 show, and I was one of those kids. I lost interest in the series in 2018, but there was a time when I had all the DVDs and I loved watching the series. I don't enjoy it like I did when I was a kid, and many jokes and episodes in the series kinda make me cringe, and the characters can be pretty unlikable at times. But I still don't think it's as bad as everyone on YouTube was making it out to be back in the day. And I would even go as far as to say there are some pretty good episodes, and the show can be funny at times. An episode that comes to mind is the Season 1 episode, Driver's Ed. It's nothing amazing, but it's a decent episode for a comedy series. At its best, Teen Titans Go is a good comedy series. Maybe not the most funniest or groundbreaking comedy series, but a pretty decent turn your brain off and laugh one. Meanwhile, the original series was an amazing superhero show, and that's why so many fans of Teen Titans hated on Teen Titans Go. The original series definitely wasn't afraid of being funny, as it was also kind of a comedy series, but it wasn't just a comedy series. There was also the schedule controversy with Teen Titans Go, but we're not going to talk about that in this video, as it's mainly a network thing and not really to do with the series, in my opinion. People have said Teen Titans Go is an insult to the original show, but Teen Titans Go was the series that got me curious enough to check out the 2003 one, so there's that. Although I am someone who defends the show, there is one episode of Teen Titans Go that I hate, and that's the return of Slade. This episode gets meta, and being meta isn't necessarily a bad thing. Meta commentary can be funny or even be used to make a good point and drive home a message to an audience. But when it isn't done very good, it can be detrimental to a piece of media and be the thing that ruins it. If you're lucky, getting meta can work out well for you, but this episode of Teen Titans Go wasn't lucky. Teen Titans Go, the return of Slade, is about the Titans celebrating a victory, and Beast Boy and Cyborg decide they want to hire a clown for the celebration. But when they realize the clown isn't as funny as they remember clowns being when they were kids, they experiment on the clown and turn it into an evil and super violent clown the Titans must stop. Let's get the positives of this episode out of the way first. I do like the design of the evil clown. I think it looks pretty cool, and it's funny in a twisted kind of way how the clown's glove has the word pie printed on it for a second, so when he's punching Robin in the face, it's like the idea of a pie in the face, but flipped completely on its head, and in the most aggressive way possible, which is the whole idea. It's a creative gag. I also see Starfire being afraid of clowns as something that wasn't an incredible part of the episode, but there's nothing wrong with it on paper, and the way it was executed was decent enough. It wasn't very funny in my opinion, but humor is subjective, and it wasn't anything obnoxious. I swear, this part of Fixing Animation always has me saying something that sounds like a backhanded compliment. And so this sounds like a backhanded compliment, but the entire final patchy segment and the first few minutes of the opening patchy segment in this episode didn't irritate me. The scene of the clown causing chaos in Jump City with the gun that makes toys come to life and become evil was also pretty cool. And the way the Titans tried to defeat the clown by dressing up as clowns to remind him of who he is is was an interesting idea. It was a very Teen Titans Go way to solve the problem. But with that said, I don't have any more compliments for this episode. Where should I start with the negatives in this video? Well, let's talk about the elephant in the room. The return of Slade. Slade isn't even in this episode. For those who don't know, Slade was the overarching villain of Teen Titans, and the episodes about him were some of the coolest and best episodes of the entire series. And despite this episode of Teen Titans Go being named after him, he doesn't even appear once in this episode. An image of his mask appears a couple of times. It begins with a pony hitting the screen with its butt, because of course it does. And then Robin comes in and tells the Titans that their greatest enemy has returned. And they all take turns saying the name Slade in a dramatic way, which drags on. Up until this episode, Slade isn't even a character who even appeared in Teen Titans Go. So he isn't like some previously established character of Go. This entire setup is a direct reference to the original Teen Titans cartoon, which the majority of the kids watching this episode won't have seen. They're not the target audience of this episode. Only the adults and people who grew up with the original Teen Titans will even know who Slade is, because they never actually take time to introduce him in this episode, and it's clickbait. So everything else that happens in this episode will be directed at that crowd of people who were fans of Teen Titans 2003. The Titans leave to fight Slade, and then this amazing image appears on the screen. I find it funny that it says 3 episodes and a made-for-TV movie later, because it kind of predicted Slade being the villain of the Teen Titans Go movie, which also looks like it was made for TV, but that's besides the point. The Titans come back to the tower, celebrating their victory against him, saying that we'll never be able to see the fight between Slade and the Titans because it was just too epic. They really drive home the fact that the battle was the perfect conclusion to Teen Titans, which ended on a cliffhanger, by the way, and wow, it was just an amazing story, but we'll never be able to see it. But make no mistake, it was very compelling.
And it wasn't just the fight that was amazing. In the end, so many compelling storylines came together and resolved in such a satisfying way.
This is just a slap in the face to all the fans of the original series that want an at least satisfying conclusion to it that wraps up the loose threads left open by the series when it ended. It actually explains the cliffhanger at the end of its final episode. Yes, I know many of the Teen Titans fans were a little too vocal about their frustrations over Teen Titans Go replacing the original series, and the original one not getting the conclusion it deserves. And many fans at the time were too harsh on Teen Titans Go, and shouldn't have been as hateful to the show and its audience, and definitely none of them should have ever sent hate to the staff behind Teen Titans Go over just a TV show. I would love to see Teen Titans get season 6, but some of the people who would also love to see it need to relax and let some people enjoy a different version of the characters, even if they think it's garbage. Some people get too invested and serious about what is, at the end of the day, a television series, especially at the time this episode came out. But there's a better way to make that point than just mocking the fans who want a season 6 of Teen Titans and poking the bear. Man, eat a chocolate candy every time I say Teen Titans in this video. Don't actually do that. You'll get really sick. Anyways, Beast Boy and Cyborg say they want a clown, and Sapphire doesn't know what a clown is because she's from a different planet, so Beast Boy and Cyborg explain to her how awesome they are. Raven says this:
Yeah, clowns are great. For little kids. You guys are too old for clowns.
And this is when the episode goes off the rails. See, in this episode, clowns are used as a metaphor for animation. By Raven saying clowns are for little kids, what's really being said is animation is for little kids, which is an argument many people who think anything animated is just for babies often make. Whether it be Infinity Train or Dora the Explorer, to them, it's all the same. But what's ironic is then those same people will point to big live-action movies like Deadpool as an example of true grown-up cinema, when meanwhile, the same movie has tons of CGI, which is a type of animation. What, do you think CGI just magically comes into existence? No, someone had to animate it. Later in the episode, the Titans are having their celebration, and then the clown shows up, and Beast Boy and Cyborg quickly come to the realization that the clown isn't as good as they remember clowns being. And again, clowns are a stand-in for cartoons in this episode. More specifically, this seems to be a statement about Teen Titans Go haters being mad that their favorite show isn't as good as they remember it being. But I don't know if you guys forgot, but this is Teen Titans Go, not the original series. The problem many people had with the state of the Teen Titans franchise at the time this episode came out wasn't that the original series isn't as good as they remember it being. In fact, I recently went back and watched the third episode of season 2, which introduced Tara, and it did a great job building her up to be a sympathetic character, meanwhile setting up her relationship with Slade. And that ending, man. The reason many fans hated Teen Titans Go when it came out was because it wasn't like the original series. You can't say, oh, that's just your nostalgia blinding you. It was actually just like Teen Titans Go, because it wasn't. Teen Titans had some pretty mature story writing and character arcs. The closest Teen Titans Go has to a character arc is two characters fighting over which is better, burgers or burritos. Burgers, by the way, that's the answer. But burritos are also good. Anyways, what was I saying? Oh yeah, as I mentioned before in this video, Beast Boy and Cyborg experiment on a clown, and he mutates into this evil clown, which is kinda like the Joker on steroids. Then the Titans have to stop the clown from terrorizing the city because...
we can't hold on to our childhood forever. Things change.
Well, it's time to grow up.
Okay, this episode is telling me cartoons are just for kids, which I did not know. I thought animation was a medium that can be for kids and adults. Clearly, I don't know what I'm talking about. So, for the sake of understanding animation, let's put on this one cartoon that seems to be pretty popular. I think it's called Rick and Morty. Okay, so this pilot begins with a mad scientist named Rick dragging his grandson, Morty, out of bed and then flying off with him in a spaceship. Rick tells Morty that he's gonna wipe out the entire planet with a bomb, and Morty gets really upset at him and stops him from going through with it. Then we see Morty at his high school, where he is daydreaming about being able to touch his classmates' breasts. Wait, what? I thought this was a kids show. Animation is for kids! My bad. This must not be an animated series. This must be one of those live-action sitcoms people always talk about. Let's put in an episode of an actual cartoon. An episode of The Simpsons titled Lounge Mouge. In this episode, Marge Simpson gets a boob job. I'm a little confused. I didn't know boobs were such a big part of children's entertainment. Now it is time to fix this episode. First off, if you're not gonna have Slade be in this episode, change the name. If you really want to clickbait classic Teen Titans fans, you already have an episode with a clickbait title, Batman v Teen Titans, Dark Injustice. And so that one is actually fine, because the actual episode is about April Fool's Day, so it's pretty fitting to give it a clickbait title. If the planet really needs an episode of Teen Titans Go that clickbaits the classic fans, then do that with the April Fool's Day episode. Have that episode be the return of Slade. But I know the point of this episode is to send a message to the people who grew up with the 2003 series. So let's actually keep the title, but under one condition. This sounds crazy, I know, but let's actually have Slade be in the episode The Return of Slade. Because A, if you title the episode The Return of Slade, you're gonna confuse your child audience who doesn't know who Slade is. When I was a kid, I thought Slade was the name of the clown in the episode. And B, you're just poking the bear, and you're gonna make people hate on the series even more. Have the episode open up on the Titans getting back to the Titans Tower after a victory against Professor Blood. Cyborg and Beast Boy decide they want a clown for the celebration, like in the actual version of the episode. But in my version, when the celebration is happening and the clown shows up, I would have both of them enjoy the clown's company and actually think it's funny. this could represent the fans of Teen Titans Go. And you can still have Sapphire be afraid of the clown too. And Raven can also think it's stupid that Beast Boy and Cyborg actually thinks the clown is funny, because Raven's kind of a grouch. Then you could cut to Slade in some secret hideout, watching the Titans through a TV screen as they celebrate. And when he sees the clown they hired, Slade gets insulted because when he was a kid, clowns were much cooler. And while he grew up in Evil Land, or some other name that sounds kinda stupid, clowns were something that only edgy people liked, and they brought fear into the hearts of everyone else. I'm thinking because this is Teen Titans Go, this episode could have Slade be a really exaggerated, over-the-top villain, where everything he says is evil this, evil that. He could say something like, "After spying on the Titans through my evil TV, I have come up with an evil scheme in my evil brain." Then have Slade kidnap the clown and do experiments on him like Beast Boy and Cyborg did in the actual episode. And the clown is officially evil now. Then the evil clown breaks into the Teen Titans Tower. Then the evil clown breaks into the Titans Tower. Then the evil clown breaks into the Titans Tower, and have Slade hack the Titans' computer and tell them that he's the one behind the evil clown. He tells the Titans that he created the clown because that was the version of clowns that he grew up with, and he thinks there can only be that one type of clown. You can have the same pie-in-the-face joke you had with Robin and the Titans knowing it's messed up but also finding it kinda funny. Robin is a punching bag in Teen Titans Go. Then, the Titans talk to Slade and convince him that while the version of the clowns he grew up with might have brought him joy, the version of clowns they have nowadays that are less edgy also brings joy to many kids. And there's nothing wrong with that. And as a fan of clowns, Slade has a duty and a responsibility to let people enjoy different versions of the clown he grew up with, even if he doesn't like them. Slade will say, "Fine," and he'll supply the Titans with clown equipment, and the Titans will try to take the evil clown down the same way that they tried to in the actual episode, and Sapphire will be the one who defeats him. I think if the episode was like that, not only would it be less infamous in the cartoon community, but it might have also made more people become fans of Teen Titans Go. And I know the version of Slade in my version of the episode would be very different than the version of him that was in the original series, but the version of him in Teen Titans Go to the movies was also very different. But how would you guys fix this episode? Let me know in the comments below. I really can't stand this episode, but at least they did eventually bring back the 2003 Titans in a pretty good crossover movie. Thanks so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, feel free to like, share, and subscribe.